Well, welcome to London. We just arrived yesterday and we're going to go out and talk to the people of London. So come join us for the adventure, the last leg of our international tour with Operation People.
My name is Eike and I'm from Germany.
Hi, Greenwich.
I'm Lewis and I'm from Greenwich as well.
I'm Violeta and I am managing a team of 4 people in a tech company in London. I'm from Moldova.
My name is Elena, I'm from Mexico City and I've been living in London for the last 12 years.
What do you think is the biggest problem facing the world right now?
It's probably disinformation together with people not being able to argue anymore. Like you cannot disagree without having a fight. And I think you used to be able to, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. And now it's sort of like either you're with us or you're without us. And that causes a lot of problems because there's not really a dialogue anymore. So it's more like people talking over each other instead of to each other. And I think that's a big problem, especially, and maybe that's one part. And the other part would probably be the, disparity between rich people and poor people. It's just getting more and more, and that's also going to be causing a lot of trouble. We can already see it, I think. And that coupled with the other thing is probably what I'm most worried about because it sort of ties into everything else, yeah.
Do you think the word disinformation kind of stops conversation though? Because if people are labelled disinformation, then they don't even end up having a conversation with someone they disagree with?
Yes, definitely. I think it's because people feel attacked quite easily, and they don't want to, both sides accuse the other side of disinformation and spreading fake news. So, and that's what I mean, because if you immediately, go on the fence, there's no way to resolve that situation. So you need to have a discussion around this to be able to resolve different opinions, basically. Yeah. And if you just immediately go like, everything you're saying is shit anyway, it's going to be hard.
What do you think is the biggest problem in the world right now?
Biggest problem in the world? I'll say inflation. I don't really like it because everything's expensive now, and the cost of living is so high now, and that's why a lot of people are losing their jobs and not being able to pay for them bills and that. So I'd say about that.
I'd say the inflation as well. Yeah. I'd say living in London is hard. It's expensive everywhere you go. And then you go to somewhere else, a smaller town or city, and it's like, wow, this is cheap. Yeah. This is very cheap. Yeah, it's very costly to live here.
People are talking about climate change and how important it is to hit climate change targets. Other people are really worried about the farmers and that the farmers are being pressured too much by the climate change targets, that's why the food's increasing. What do you guys think is more important, hitting climate change goals or looking after the farmers?
I'd say climate change goals because it is quite bad at the moment, and yeah, I'd say that, yeah.
I'd say looking after the farmers. They're our most valuable source. They provide us with the food on our table. Bugger climate change.
Yeah, climate, it's a bit hard, isn't it? Because if people are starving, what's kind of more important?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What do you think is the biggest problem facing the world right now?
I think it's all the wars that the whole world is going through, because everyone wants power, everyone wants influence. I think what we need to do is stop this and just be happy and just help each other and give love to each other and not fight for territories. And because Moldova is really affected by the war as well. A lot of Ukrainians moved to Moldova, and Moldova we did our best we could to help them. It's just the wars, man. That's it.
Who do you feel influences the wars the most?
The politicians, but also propaganda, because I understand that people who live in a certain country, I'm not going to give names because we all know about all the wars that are happening right now. But people don't read enough and they don't have access to information, to proper information. They think that their leaders are doing a good thing, even when they're killing people, innocent people, civilians, and so on. If you want to fight, just fight in separate rooms. I don't know, fight with each other. Politicians, just go on some boxing, do some boxing. Don't kill people, because it affects the whole world. because of inflation, because of the prices that are increasing. Everyone wants to move somewhere, but everywhere it becomes even more and more expensive. Now when I went to Morocco as well, people just don't have food. They just don't have food on their tables, and that's so sad to see.
They're talking about a worldwide food shortage, and at the same time, they're talking about these climate change targets, and the farmers are saying we cannot hit these targets, it's going to cripple farming. What do you think is more important, looking after the farming or trying to hit the climate change targets?
I think the first thing would be to stop the wars, and then think about the everything else, because I think climate change affects the food shortage as much as the wars do. So everything needs to be tackled at the same time if we want to live in a happy world finally.
What do you think is the biggest problem going on in the world right now?
I will say maybe for a long time, like how many rich people is super rich and how many the poor people is extremely poor. Like in Mexico, you have lots of people that live in the streets, but you don't get help from the government or anything. Here, some people do, but still you see so many homeless. So that thing is a big problem, very sad problem.
Do you think it's getting too expensive for people to live?
Oh yes, definitely. It means I've been living here for 12 years. I never worry about, turn on the light, turn off the light, have a long shower. But now we've been discussing, like, yeah, you know what? Instead of 10-minute shower, take 8-minute shower, turn off the light. So little things like, okay, we've been checking how much we're paying every month and like how can save. We still can go out, like today, day out, go to the restaurant. But yeah, at this point, we start thinking how to save money and, don't start worrying in the future.
Do you think that the cost of living is getting too expensive for people these days?
It's just because you have some people who are, easiest example probably be rent. People have to pay rent. That's something that you cannot get around. And you have fewer and fewer people owning more and more of the flats. And this is quite an easy one, and I think there's a video of someone saying at some point it's hard to lose money because whatever you do with it, it just comes back worth more, but you need to get to a certain level for this to be true. So if you buy, then you don't know where to go with your money. You buy art, it gets worth more. You buy companies, they get worth more. And then you have like the regular people who are just struggling to pay rent, and they can never sort of get out of this Ferris wheel because they have never enough money to build up the equity that you need to buy a flat, because you have the few rich at the top.
Finally, what's your one great piece of advice or inspiration to give out to the world?
Okay, I've got that. I can answer it in 1 second. So I would advise everyone, every single person on earth, to travel more. Because this, first of all, opens up your mind, teaches you so many things about so many cultures, so many people. You can learn from every single person that you meet. And it doesn't matter, are they rich, are they poor, what country they're from, or anything. Just go on, like, to travel, even in your own country if you don't have money to go anywhere else. If you can, save some money and go somewhere further, but please, travel.
Take one day at a time. We wake up, we got a new chance to do things better. If we make a mistake yesterday, rectify today. Try to do your best every day. And we every have problems, but you can leave your problems at home, at school, wherever they are, and try to be positive. It's like so many negatives around, so leave those behind. Just try to be positive. You can find 7 positives for every negative every day if you really try.
What's your best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Don't live in London. don't live in London.
Be happy that you wake up every day, because some people don't get the chance to. Wake up with a smile. No matter what your problems are, try to wake up with a smile and love life.
Oh, I love that.